Anyway, so I'm Catherine, and I'm a live streamer for AP Lang, and today we're just going to be playing Kahoot to get comfortable with rhetorical analysis terms, which should be pretty fun. I've never done it with people not in the same room. So it looks like we only have one person live, and I can't tell if he's still here. More people registered, but I guess we'll just start it in a hot sec. But let me pull up my screen. Here we go. Hopefully Crowdcast is good this time because, okay, there we go. All right, click to close message. Okay, so yeah, today we're going to be doing a rhetorical analysis Kahoot. So if anybody's in here right now, comment something. I don't care your name, what you ate for breakfast today, just so I know we can get started sooner rather than later. Anyway, so just before we get started, okay, LeBron's here. Sick. Awesome. Here is the social media stuff at Hyperbole. There's Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just good for getting notifications and being clear on when stuff is. Anyway, so go ahead and whoopsies. That was not supposed to happen. I didn't really know. Wait, okay. So we're gonna pull up this. Oh my gosh, sorry guys, I'm kind of struggling right now. Pull up this link for a Kahoot that I made because we love Kahoot. Play. So I think it might just be us two because I don't think anybody. Wait, there's 3 more people that came. That's really loud. Okay, we're gonna turn it down. There we go. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know if you can join in at random times. Does anybody know? If we start it and someone else comes, can they join or does it not work that way? Anyway, I'm gonna join myself because okay, LeBron's here. 9, 6, 5, 8. Okay. Okay, so what this Kahoot is mostly going to consist of is it's either going to ask you certain rhetorical analysis terms, or it will give you an example of a prompt, and you have to identify if it's rhetorical analysis, argument, or synthesis kind of thing. So I don't know who else is here, but I think we're going to get started. And I'll just save the pin. If you guys want to join in later, just comment and I'll give you the pin. But we're going to start. Okay, 39 questions. What is this an example of? The wild gusts of wind pierced her body. Okay. This music is my jam, honestly. Okay. How many of us are playing? Next. Alright, okay, Joe's playing. Every time I hear Joe, I just think Joe Mama, but okay, it's fine. Anyway, so yeah, that was imagery. I missed it. Oh, I went back to the answer. But anyway, that was imagery because it's the cold wind gusts pierce your body. It's something that it's tactile imagery. It's you can imagine feeling that, so it helps you be there. So that's the rhetorical term. Okay. What is the repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of successive clauses? Okay, so this one was anaphora. One of you guessed alliteration. That's kind of close because alliteration is seashells down by the seashore kind of thing, but that's a one letter, but this is a word or phrase. So in poetry they do it a lot of times where they'll start each stanza with the same phrase. Okay. LeBron is winning and I'm in last place. Sad. Write an essay in which you analyze how Johnson crafted his letter. Okay, so this one's asking you what kind of prompt is it? Okay. And so, okay. So this one, just use the keyword analyze. You're analyzing the rhetorical thing. Synthesis asks you to like look at documents and then decide which one, like what side you should take, and then argument, none of you guys have, so that's good. Okay. Tone is best defined as the like. Yep, author's attitude. That one's pretty easy. And that's a good fallback one just for like rhetorical analysis. If you can't think of like fancy words or like you can't recognize anything, there's always a tone in there somewhere. So, and LeBron is on fire. Okay. Analyze how Banneker uses rhetorical strategies to argue against slavery. What is the author's purpose? This one's kind of easy, but this is important just when you're reading introduction prompts to rhetorical analysis. Yep, that one's pretty simple. Okay. Analyze how Banneker uses rhetorical. Okay, so what is your job in this one? So this one might sound kind of dumb too, but after you guys answer, I'll explain why I put it in there. Yeah, so this one, the reason I put it in there, even though it's kind of like a, not like you know the answer, is that a lot of people when they get to their like rhetorical essay, they put like what the author's doing, and then they kind of try to argue a side, which you're just like supposed to be clearly objective, and that's why a lot of people's scores get lowered. So I just wanted to put that in there. Okay. Jargon is all the following except. Yep. Okay. This one you guys even know, but jargon is just like when this one you can kind of tell just like the one that stands out. But jargon is just like what professionals use, and like typical your average person couldn't really understand it. So yeah. Next, LeBron is still in the lead. One example of a colloquial. I can't say it, but I know what it is. It's like colloquialism. Okay. So colloquialism is like where you take the like speech patterns of a certain group of people. So this one is because like y'all, technically that's not like proper grammar, but they're using it to like represent a certain group of people. So this would be imagery or metaphor, because like the clouds were dolls, mashed potatoes, and then this would be alliteration, and this one could also be metaphor. So I hope that helps clear that up. LeBron is still winning, and he is on fire. Okay. She broke his car and his heart would be example of a what? Okay, so this is called a zeugma, which is a figure of speech in which a word applies to two other different sentences. Okay, so it's like where one word is applying to two different words. It's kind of a little bit confusing. So she broke. Broke is referring to both his car and his heart. I think you guys, what did you guys put? Paradox. Paradox is like when something contradicts each other. Like the one I always think of is if God can do it, if God can do anything, can he create a rock so heavy that he can't lift, or something like that. But so this is just when one thing refers to two words. But and if you can't remember the word of that, like that's such a weird word. I knew that, but I never actually used it in one of my final essays. But it's just good to know. Okay. What do you call it when someone uses opposition or contrast of ideas in parallel structure? Yep, that one. I think someone might have left because let's see who left. Yeah, I think Joe either didn't answer it or was gone. But yeah, that was antithesis. So you got that one. My backpack weighs a ton is an example. I think Joe logged off, so I'm just gonna skip. Yep, that's hyperbole. That's just, whoa, sorry, wow, I feel dumb. That was a typo. It's not a hyperbole, it's hyperbole. But just when you exaggerate something. Okay. Resembling or characteristic of a lament for the dead. Okay. It was an Elegy, and I actually meant to press that. I pressed on, but that's what it's called. It's like, you know, an apostrophe, not like the grammar thing, but it's another rhetorical term where it's like you're addressing someone from the dead. So an elegiac. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I do know how to write it down, which is the important thing. But anyway, it's just like a speech. Like an example of something would be like giving at a funeral, like a, what do they call it? Wow, I'm blanking on the word. What you ask to give at a funeral, it's like a speech, funeral speech. I can't think of it right now, but anyway, that'd be an example. Okay, write carefully reasoned essay that defends, challenges, or qualifies this assertion. So it's going to be argument, synthesis, or rhetorical. I think I am the only one here now. I don't know if LeBron is still playing. So, yay. But I'm just going to keep going through it, and then people can watch the replay. So I'm pretty much playing Kahoot by myself. A figure of speech in which an absent person or personified object is addressed by a speaker. So I actually just went over this one. I'll give you a few seconds if you're watching the replay to guess what it is. But it's an apostrophe. So this one's kind of like weird to get your mind around, because usually when you hear apostrophe, I think like the grammar thing, but it's when you're talking to a person. So like an example of this would be twinkle, twinkle, little star. Like you're talking to the star, but it's not there. It's not a real thing. So it's either when you're talking to something that's not real, not there, or dead. Okay. A work that expresses sorrow. I'll give you a few seconds to guess. It is an elegy. It's just kind of similar to like the other one that I was talking about, like the funeral thing, but that's just work that expresses sorrow. Pretty straightforward. Okay, the way an author organizes words, sentences, and overall argument in order to achieve a particular purpose is called. So give you a few seconds to guess. It is a rhetorical strategy. So that's what this whole computer is about. Wow, Kahoot. I can talk. I can English. So that's what you're analyzing, is the way the author organizes words, sentences, and overall argument in order to achieve a particular purpose. So that's like the whole purpose of this essay, which is a good thing to keep in mind. Okay. A form of deductive reasoning in which pieces of evidence are used to create a new conclusion. I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay, that's called, I still can't pronounce like a lot of these words. Like syllogism, I can write it down now. But yeah, it's where using deductive reasoning, like this means this, so this means this, so this means this, so this is my conclusion kind of thing. Which a lot of authors do use in their essays. Okay, a commonly used figure of speech that compares one thing with another, like or as. And this one is one that a lot of you guys have probably been learning since like elementary school. But I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay. It is a simile. And the difference between a simile and metaphor is like a simile uses like or as, and a metaphor just says is. So like if you want to use the mashed potatoes one, we could do clouds are like dollops of mashed potatoes would be a simile, but a metaphor would be clouds are dollops of mashed potatoes. So yeah. Okay. An effort to ridicule or make fun of literary work or of an author by writing a comic imitation of the work. This one is also pretty well known just because of like things like YouTube, but you should guess. So it's a parody. So a lot of people get confused between this and allusion. When there's an allusion, it is like kind of imitating their work or like referencing their work. But it isn't making like jokes about it. Usually if it's making jokes, it's usually considered a parody. So like if you've ever seen like parody video, like music videos on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. But it's like making humor out of it. Okay. The use of reason as a controlling principle in an argument. So which one of these is reason? These are like the three appeals. There's reason, logic, and emotion. So I'll use it to guess. And it is logos. And I remember that as like logos, logic. And then pathos and ethos I kind of get mixed up sometimes, but ethos is credibility and pathos is emotion. Okay, two contradictory words in one expression. Okay. So I'll give you a second. Okay, that is going to be an oxymoron. And the difference between an oxymoron and a paradox, which a lot of people get confused, is like a paradox, like the one I exact, like if God can do anything, then can he create a rock he can't lift? It's something that like contradicts each other, but it's like an idea, where an oxymoron is like a cold fire, or like just two words that put next to each other like don't really make sense. If that helps. So if you guys have questions, you can comment them. But, an effect created by words that have sounds that reinforce their meaning. Okay, I'll give you guys a few seconds to guess before I reveal the answer. That is an onomatopoeia. And this is probably another one you guys are familiar with from like elementary school. I know I am, but like they taught you with the comics where it says like bam, pow, and those words have sounds that reinforce their meaning. So that's just kind of, or like if you're like popping popcorn, like pop, 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 that sound reinforces the meaning. The only way I can win Kahoot is if nobody else is playing. So we're winning, yay! The diction and content of the passage suggests that the speaker is most likely. Huh. I think there's supposed to be a picture of something here, so I'm not actually sure. So we're just gonna wait. I think. Okay. So we're looking at this one. So the diction and content of the passage suggests the speaker is most likely blank. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna guess one and then I'll go over it. Okay, so a Native American visiting the land from his ancestors. So let's go back and analyze the passage and we'll see why it was that one. Okay, this passage is taken from a 20th century book on history and culture of Kiowa Indians. Yellowstone, it seemed to me, was the top of the world, a region of deep lakes and dark timber canyons and waterfalls. But beautiful as it was, one might have the sense of confinement there. The skyline in all directions is closed at hand, the high wall of the woods, and deep cleavages of shade. There is a perfect freedom in the mountains, but it belongs to the eagle and the elk, the badger and the bear. The Kiowas reckoned their stature by the distance they could see, and they were bent and blind in the wilderness. Descending eastward, the highland meadows are a stairway to the plain. In July, the inland slope of the Rockies is luxuriant with flax and buckwheat, stonecrop, and larkspur. The earth unfolds in the limit of land or seeds. Clusters of trees and animals grazing far in the distance cause the vision to reach away and wonder to build upon the mind. The sun follows a longer course in the day, and the sky is immense beyond all comparison. The great billowing clouds sail upon the shadows and move from the grain-like water in dividing light. Farther down in the land of crows and Blackfeet, the plain is yellow. Sweet clover takes hold. Okay, it's just describing the land for a little bit. A dark mist lay over the black hills of land like iron at the top of the ridge. I caught sight of the Devil's Tower up thrust against the gray sky, as if birth of time, the core of the earth had broken through the crush and motion of the world had begun. Okay, so if we come here, the most likely. Okay, so we don't think. So it's okay. So the answer is a Native American visiting the lands of his ancestors. So if you go back here and look for like tips on that, we see, but beautiful as it is. Great building. The Kyokas paused that way. So it's talking about them in a past tense, which obviously makes it not like a current thing. It's just talking about his ancestors. They must wean their blood from the northern winter and hold the mountains a while longer in their view. So you can see he kind of has like more knowledge of it. So that one's a little bit confusing, which is why I put it in there, but that is the answer. And this one, like, might sound appealing because it does describe the plant life loft, but like it's not like a scientific thing. It's like a very like nostalgic thing. So that's why you choose this one instead of that one. The main rhetorical function of the last line in paragraph 1 is blank. Okay, so if we go here, paragraph 1. Now I hold that Illinois had a right to abolish and prohibit slavery as she did, and I hold that Kentucky had the same right to continue and protect slavery as that Illinois had to abolish it. I hold that New York had as much right to abolish slavery as Virginia had to continue it, and that each and every state of this union is a sovereign power, with the right to do as it pleases upon this question of slavery and upon all domestic institutions. So, wait, what lines? 5 through 7, okay. Upon this institution. Okay, read that part. Okay. The main rhetorical function of the last sentence is to what? With the right as it pleases and upon all. Okay. To introduce. Oops. To illustrate. Oh. I think it's still talking about this one. Let's see, 5. Is to illustrate idea. Okay, so it's actually talking about this. Sorry guys, I messed up there. But it's talking about this one. So it says, but it belonged to the eagles and elk, the badger and the bear. The Kyokas reckon their stature by the distance they could see, and they were bet and blind in the wilderness. So it's saying this, and it's reinforcing right here that they may have felt a sense of confinement. So it's reinforcing that idea. Okay. Line 8, descending. 6, 7, 8. Okay, descending eastward, the highland meadows are stairway to the plain. So descending eastward, the highland meadows are stairway to the plain. So what do we think that means? What do you think it modifies? Okay, so descending eastward, the highland meadows. I'm going to go with... yes, okay. So descending eastward, the highland meadows. So it's saying the meadows are descending eastward. And that, I don't know, that's what it's modifying. And these are, I forgot to mention, these are actual questions from AP tests, so if that helps at all. Okay, which of the following best describes the rhetorical function of the first sentence of the second paragraph? The first sentence of the second paragraph, okay. Descending eastward, the highland mountains are stairway to the plain. In July, the inland slope of the Rockies is luxuriant with flax and buckwheat, stone crop, and larkspur. Okay, so what do we think? It shifts the focus of the passage, it reiterates the main idea. Let's see. Go back here and look at it again. I think See, I actually don't know the answers to these ones. I just looked at them. So I'm going along here with you, so I might get some wrong. But it doesn't convey the author speaking about the wilderness. It doesn't dismiss the first paragraph. It's either red or yellow. I think it shifts. Yeah. Okay. So it kind of just shifts the focus of. At first, it's talking about the animals, and then here it starts talking about the plants. So just shifting. Okay, lines 12 through 14 contain which of the following rhetorical devices? Okay, so 12. Okay, the sun follows a larger course in the day, and the sky is immense beyond all comparison. The great billowing clouds that sail up in the shadows that move upon the grain like water, dividing the light. Okay, so which of the following? So it doesn't use onomatopoeia. It doesn't say like bam, pow, pop. I know it doesn't use ambiguity because it's saying exactly what it means. It didn't use a personification or euphemism, so we're gonna go with metaphors, which if you go back and look at it, 11, 12, it says the sun follows a course in day and the sky is immense. Okay, the great billowing clouds that sail upon it are shadows. So it's like the clouds are shadows. That's a metaphor. So yeah. The principal contrast employed by the author of the passage is between. Okay. So if you want to go back and look at that for a second, I'll give you some time to look at this before I make my guess. So it's saying, what are the two contrasting things? Oops. Okay, so I actually don't listen either. I know it's not these two. So it's either the light plains and dark mountains or the past and the present. But since he's visiting his ancestors, I'm gonna have to go with past and present. No, it was the light plains and the dark mountains. Okay, so we can see that here where he's like descending eastward in July. So that's why some people might have got confused if it's winter or summer, but that isn't that important in the passage overall. So I was talking about, yeah, the sun falls along the course of day, and then over here, a dark mist layer with black hills. So it's comparing those two. So that was it. The speaker's tone throughout the passage is best described as. Okay. These are all kind of good. So, like, don't judge me if I show this one. Okay. So I don't think it's sensible and scholarly because it's not like talking about anything like sciencey or statistical about it. I don't think it's exotic per se. It does sound a little bit sentimental, but both words have to fit. It doesn't really sound earnest. It does sound profound. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with this one. We'll see if it's right. Yeah. Okay. Reverent and poetic. So that's one of this is multiple choice. They'll sometimes give you answers where one of the answers work and one of them don't, but you need to find the one where they both work. So don't just go for the first one you see that you recognize. Okay. And I'm still winning. Who'd have thought? Okay, the sentence in lines 17 through 21 contain all of the following except. Okay. Okay, they had to come up to the place where the rest must change their lives. The sun is at home on the plains. Precisely there does it have a certain character of God. When the Icaros came to the land of the crows, they could see the dark leaves and hills at dawn across the Bingham River, the profusion of light and the grain shelves, the oldest deity ranging after the solstices. Not yet would there veer south to the cauldron. Okay, so what does it not contain? It does contain personification because it's talking about, let's see, like they had come to a place where they must go. The sun is at home, that's personification. Parallel syntax. Let's see. So which one does it not contain? I'm just going to wait and see the answer on this one, and then I'll go through it with you guys. So it is a balance of overstatement and understatement. So that's the one it doesn't have. So let's go back and find these, and then we'll be able to know. So we already showed you elaborate personification and saying the sun is at home. But let's go back and find the subordinate clause and the parallel syntax. Okay, so 15, 16, 17. Okay, so the subordinate clause is kind of right here. And the parallel syntax is kind of in the same place. So it's kind of, both of them are kind of at the beginning. So now that we recognize those, it's like process of elimination. In context, the phrase "wean their blood," line 22, is referred to elsewhere as, okay. So look at line 22, it says, not yet would they veer southward in the cauldron of the way below. They must wean their blood from the northern winter and hold the mountains a while longer in their view. So which one is it most like? Reckon their stature, let's see, 5 through 6. But it belongs to equal in the Kyokas reckon their stature. I think that one could probably work, but let's look at the other one. 17, change their lives. They had to come to a place where they must change their lives. They must wean their blood. Huh. That could also work. So these ones are good options. I think these ones probably don't work as much. So it's either red or green. Christmas colors. Let's see. I think I'm going to have to go with green. Yeah. Okay, that was good. Okay, so probably why I would choose green over red is because this one happens closer to the line, so it's more easily like connected. And changing their lives and recognizing their stature is changing, but this is more of a physical sense, and both of these are more in like a metaphorical sense. So that is probably why. Okay, the rhetorical style of the passage is best described as, okay, so it's not, let's see, wordy and pedantic. Let's look up what pedantic means. Pedantic means, oh my gosh, like pedant. Okay, what does pedant mean? A person who excessively concerned with minor details. So I don't think it's that. He doesn't seem excessively concerned. Graphic and graceful, that can maybe be one. Ornate and flowery, I don't think so. It's not terse. So it's either graphic and graceful or ornate and flowery. I'm going to go with graphic and graceful. Okay, yep. That was it. So the reason I go over graphic and graceful or ornate and flowery is because ornate is almost like more over the top, and I don't think that applies to this one. And then graceful is another good way to put it. So, yeah. In the passage, the speaker's purpose is to... Okay, now we're looking at this one. Okay, we already read this first sentence. We have settled the slavery question as far as we're concerned. We have prohibited Illinois forever, and in doing so, I think we have done wisely. And there is no man in the state who would be more strenuous in his opposition to the introduction of slavery than I would. But when we settled for ourselves, we exhausted all our power over that subject. We have done our whole duty, and we can do no more. We must have each other, every other state, to decide for itself the same question. So let's see, what is he arguing for? I think he's not analyzing the causes of slavery. He's not criticizing individual states, because the whole beginning is like, Virginia had this right, New York had this right. So it's not really describing advantages. So I think the most obvious one of it is arguing states' rights. Like, states can do what they want, whether that's for or against slavery. So we're going to choose it. Yay. Okay. Oh, whoops. Okay. Which of the following best describes the tone of the passage? So we're talking about the slavery one still. So it's either mock enthusiasm, well-rounded polemic. Wait, so let me look up what that says so I can tell you guys word for word. Polemic means a strong verbal or written attack on something or someone. So it doesn't sound very much like he's attacking it. Righteous indignation, I don't think so, but objective rationalization, he's like rationalizing states' rights. So I think this would probably be the most correct. But I'll give you guys a second to guess because I'm not sure if I'm right. So if you guys want to guess a different one, like go for it. But I'm going for this one. Nope, it was a well-reasoned polemic. So let's go back and look at what he's attacking. So let's see. Oh, we didn't finish it. In relation to the policy to be pursued toward free Negroes, we have said that they shall not vote, whilst Maine, on the other hand, has said they shall vote. Maine is a sovereign state and has the power to regulate qualification of voters within her limits. I would never consent to confer the right of voting and citizenship upon a Negro, but I am not going to quarrel with Maine for differing from me in opinion. Let men take care of her own Negroes and fix the qualifications of her own voters to suit herself without interfering with Illinois, and Illinois will not interfere with me. So at the state of New York, she allows the Negroes to vote provided he owns $250 worth of property, but not otherwise. While I would not make any distinction whatever between a Negro who held property and one who did not, yet if the sovereign state of New York chooses to make that distinction, it is her business and not mine, and I will not quarrel with her for it. She can do as she pleases on this question if she minds her own business, and we will do the same thing. Now, my friends, if we will only act conscientiously and rigidly upon the great principle of popular sovereignty, which is where the purpose comes back in, which guarantees to each state territory the right to do as it pleases on all things, local and domestic, instead of Congress interfering, we will continue at peace one with another. Why should Illinois be at war with Missouri or Kentucky? Okay, so here's where we get what he's attacking, which introduces the polemic, which I'll read the definition for you one more time. A polemic is a strong verbal or written attack on something or someone. So his attack is on, we shouldn't be fighting with each other against, like, state shouldn't be against state for their personal decisions. Like he's saying, they should mind their business, vote on what they want to. So that is why that one is correct. Okay, 35. The first two sentences, the speaker grounds his central idea on which of the following rhetorical strategies. The first two sentences. Okay, so let's look at this. Now I hold that Illinois has the right to abolish and prohibit slavery as she did. And I hold that Kentucky had the same right to continue to protect slavery, that Illinois had to abolish it. I hold that New York had as much right to abolish slavery as Virginia had to continue it, and that each and every state of this union is a sovereign power with the right to do as it pleases upon the question of slavery and upon all domestic institutions. So those are the first two sentences, a little bit wordy, but it's using description, deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, or classification. So we obviously know it's one of the reasonings because we don't see like any detailed description and we don't see classification. But, well, I'm gonna sneeze. Let me read you the difference between inductive and deductive reasoning. Okay, we'll go ahead and just guess one. Okay, it was inductive reasoning. Okay, so inductive reasoning is, okay, so inductive is where it provides some evidence to the truth of the conclusion, which it obviously did when it talked about, like, they had the right to do this, we had the right to do this. And then deductive is just saying, like, from a general law. So this was giving specific examples, which makes it inductive. Okay, 36. The most significant rhetorical shift in the passage begins with, okay, let's see. So with the state of New York, I don't think that's a big one because it's still just saying the main idea he was already saying. Now, my friend, sounds like a shift. So I feel like it's either going to be these two. Let's go look at lines 42 and 48 and which one has a bigger shift. Okay, let's see. 42. Now, my friends, if you'll only act consciously and religiously, then 48 goes. I think it's now, my friends, because it kind of shifts from just describing what's happening to where it becomes with the polemic, where he's like, a polemic, where he's attacking something, criticizing something that's going on. So we're gonna go now, my friends, and see if it works. Yeah. Okay. 37. The speaker subordinates his central idea with. Okay, so let me look up subordinates. Okay, subordinate means provide evidence to support the truth of. So what does he do it with? Let's see. He doesn't really use paradoxes. Innovative symbols. He doesn't really use symbols that much. I think it's going to be appeal to authority or extended metaphor. So we're going to guess appeal to, yeah. Okay, because he's not like using a metaphor. He's pretty much just appealing to the government and saying, like, our government's doing our thing, your government's doing your thing. Just let it be like that. And there's no metaphors, there's no symbols. He's just being very straight up and upfront with them. Okay, 3 and 39. From the passage, it appears that the speaker's personal view is that African Americans should be blamed. Okay, either slaves and should not hold property. Okay, so this one is the right answer. I think is going to be should be free but not allowed to vote. Okay, that's it. So I'll go back and show you where. This is just from my recollection of me reading it, which is why it's good to do a really close reading when you're going. But right here, so should be free, not allowed to vote. He says, we have settled slavery question as far as we're concerned. We have prohibited it in Illinois forever, and in doing so, I think we've done wisely. So right there, he's saying his view on slavery, it's wise to get rid of it. So he thinks they should be free. But then right here it says, let's see. I would never consent to confer the right of voting and citizenship upon a Negro. So he doesn't think they should vote. So that's just pretty straightforward. It's just if you read it carefully enough. Okay, last question. In the final lines of the passage, the speaker attempts to win over his audience by... Okay, so if we go and read the last final lines, it says... Our fathers intended that our institutions should differ. They knew that the North and South, having different climates, predictions, and interests, required different institutions. Wait a second. Whoopsies. It might not even have the last lines. That's unfortunate. Okay, we're gonna go with inspiring confidence or instilling fear. Okay, it's instilling fear. So it's talking about how like can't really see the end, but I'm assuming it goes something like our forefathers set up this country that as such that we can like overcome these problems, but if we don't use popular sovereignty vote, we're going to fall back into tyranny, which is what England was. So yeah, I won. So proud of myself. Okay, that's kind of, I can only win Kahoot when I'm the only one playing. So maybe I should just play Kahoot by myself more often, boost my self-esteem. Just kidding. Okay, anyway, so if you guys want to join that Kahoot, or not join the Kahoot, we already did the Kahoot, but if you guys want to practice on your own time, like if you weren't able to make it to the live stream, here's the link right here. It's my Kahoot, but it's open to the public, so you can play it with friends or by yourself like I did, just on your own time. I'll leave that up for a hot second. But thanks for everybody that's watching this. Kahoot is one of my favorite things to do, and I think just like quizzing yourself and learning these terms is really helpful. Although, like, knowing these terms are helpful, but it's okay if you get to the test and you forget what a zeugma is, but you know, like, how to describe it. You can still do that. Your AP reader will still be thrilled, know that you get the idea. But these are just good to go over every once in a while, especially since, for me personally, rhetorical analysis is the essay I struggle with the most. So I don't know if you guys have got that all written down, but do you have any questions? I don't think anybody's still actually here. I'm not sure. But then here's my little bibliography in case you guys want to see that. And then just once again, this is the Hyperbole social media platform, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. They're good just to stay updated with things and like know when things are going on, like this live stream. And get ready for AP tests. They're only six-ish months away. So then just once again, we're going to be doing rhetorical analysis practice essays later this week, as well as rhetorical analysis tips and tricks. This week, we're just really focusing on rhetorical analysis. And if you want to get ideas for like current events you can use in your argument essays, there will be a live stream at 4 with Brandon. So thanks for watching, and I will see you at my next live stream.